So today I will discuss about the process of transcription in eukaryotes that is given on your molecular biology syllabus. So let's get started now. So let us discuss about the transcription in eukaryotes. Now transcription in eukaryotes, as um, we know that transcription in eukaryotes is undertaken by polymerases closely related to RNA polymerase found in bacteria. Okay, that means there are three different types of polymerase called polymer RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, and RNA polymerase 3. So eukaryotes have three different types of polymerase, whereas bacteria have only one type of RNA polymerase that carries out the whole transcription process. And with that with that polymerase, they also need several initiation factors for efficient and promoter specific initiation in eukaryotes. So eukaryotes need RNA polymerase for the process of translation. There are three different type of RNA polymerase called RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2, and RNA polymerase 3. With that, it also need some initiation factors which are made up of proteins known as general transcription factors, or also called as GTF, for the initiation process in eukaryotes. Now here it has been compared with the prokaryotic transcription, but in your syllabus prokaryotic transcription is not given. Well, I am talking just an overview. In prokaryotic transcription, then they have only RNA polymerase, one type of RNA polymerase that catalyze the whole process, and they don't need transcription factors, but they have, just like transcription factor, they have a factor known as sigma factor. known as sigma factor This sigma factor helps in proper binding of the RNA polymerase to the promoter. Just like in eukaryotic transcription also, instead of having the sigma factor, they have these general transcription factors. These general transcription factors also called as GTF, are required for efficient and promoter specific initiation of transcription in eukaryotes. So it's, in simple words, in my own words, they help in promoter binding. Promoter are the region where the RNA polymerase will grab on and carries out the initiation of transcription. There it will melt the DNA and form a transcription bubble. Just like in case of replication bubble occurs, here also transcription bubble occurs. Because without separating the DNA strands, you cannot synthesize RNA from a DNA template. Okay, that's good. Now to specifically bind to the promoter by the RNA polymerase, several other transcription factors are needed. In eukaryotes, there are a number of transcription factors together called as general transcription factor, or simply you can call GTF. Okay, but in prokaryotes, they have only one transcription factor called sigma factor. So we are focusing on eukaryotic transcription, right? So up to this much we have understood that in eukaryotes, for the initiation of transcription, we need a set of proteins. We need a set of protein called general transcription factor, and with that we need RNA polymerase. Now there are three different type of RNA polymerase: RNA polymerase 1, 2, and 3. Well, I have already discussed with you about the RNA polymerase 1, 2, and 3. That RNA polymerase 2, RNA polymerase 1 transcribes the large ribosomal RNA precursor gene, whereas RNA polymerase 3 transcribes your tRNA, which is your transfer RNA. Some small nuclear RNA genes are also transcribed by polymerase 3 and the 5S rRNA gene. The rest of the mRNA, which is the messenger RNA, this messenger RNA is actually synthesized by your RNA polymerase 2. So we will focus on RNA polymerase 2 here. Okay, so I am not going in this paragraph. I am eliminating this paragraph. Okay, so what it is saying? It is saying here that RNA polymerase 2 core promoter are made up of combinations of 4 different sequence elements. Now for different RNA polymerase, there are different types of promoter regions found within the DNA. Okay, again I repeat, for different types of RNA polymerase, there are different types of promoter regions to be used. Like we are using now, we will study about the RNA polymerase 2. So they have a unique promoter region. That promoter region consists of several sequences. So what it is saying, let us see. The eukaryotic promoter, or you can say core promoter, refers to the minimal set of sequence elements required for accurate transcription initiation by the polymerase 2 machinery, as well as measured in vitro. So it means to say that the promoter region for the RNA polymerase 2, the promoter region consists of some specific sequence known as sequence elements. These sequence elements are required for accurate binding to the promoter by RNA polymerase. Also, the other transcription factors which will also bind to that promoter region, and to for accuracy, for accurate transcription initiation by the RNA polymerase 2. For that reason also, we need a specific promoter for the RNA polymerase 2. Then it is saying a core promoter is typically about 40 nucleotides long. Now, if you want to study, when you are studying about the promoter for RNA polymerase 2, the promoter length of the promoter is about 40 nucleotides long, and that promoter is located either upstream or downstream of the transcription start site. Now here two terms that you can see, one is your upstream and another is your downstream. What does it mean? Well, upstream are the regions of the DNA where the transcription process is not occurring. That is the promoter region, then before the promoter region, that is towards the 5 prime, in that all regions are the upstream. From the transcription start site, there is your downstream region. Okay, let me show you with the help of diagram. So if this is your DNA, it has 5 prime region, 3 prime region, 3 prime region, 5 prime region. And if this is your promoter, I am showing your promoter just a little bit of region, but the promoter is made up of many sequence. Just for your simplicity, I want to show you what is upstream and downstream. This is the promoter region, suppose, and this is your transcription start site. That means from this site your transcription process will occur. So I am writing now. I'm writing now. So this is your promoter region. This is your transcription start site. This is your transcription start site. So which one is your upstream and downstream? Transcription start site means from this position your transcription process will occur. The DNA will be used as a template to form your RNA, to make a RNA strand. So upstream is your this portion. Upstream is your this portion is your upstream, which is not used for the transcription, which is not used for the process of making RNA. But the downstream is from the start site of your transcription is your downstream. So upstream is allocated towards the 5' end, whereas downstream is located from the start site towards the 3' end, where the whole RNA will be getting synthesized. So what does it says here? What does it says here? It says here that the promoter is typically about 40 nucleotides long, and it is located either in the upstream or in the downstream. That means this promoter is located in such a way that it is found on the upstream site also, as well as it is little bit found on the downstream region of the DNA. Okay, that means just after the transcript, where the transcription will start. Okay, it is located on that region also, the promoter for the RNA polymerase 2. Now in the figure it shows the location of this promoter. Okay, there are several regions where of this promoter. If you see the figure, let us see the figure. So this is the promoter region for the RNA polymerase 2. It has not shown the whole DNA, it has only shown the promoter region for the RNA polymerase 2. Well, 4 important regions are to be observed. Okay, the first important region that you can see that I have marked just now, okay, I'm marking again, is this BRE. Well, BRE is your BRE is your TF2B recognition element. It is known as TF2B recognition element, or you can say sequence, or you can say region. In this region, in this BRE region, your TF2B will bind. TF2B is a transcription factor which will initiate your transcription process. Okay, next, so again I think you have understood. The first region that you can see is BRE element. The full form of BRE element is TF2B recognition element. Well, this is the binding place for the transcription factor known as TF2B. Okay, next is your Tata element. The next element that you can see is your Tata element. Okay, I am removing this all. Okay, the next element is this. This is the Tata element. Why it is called Tata element? Because this region is rich with thymine and adenine. Okay, it has the sequence TA, T-double-A, T. It is rich with adenine and thymine. That's why the name comes Tata element. Now this is the place where a transcription factor named TBP, a transcription factor named TBP, full form of TBP is Tata box binding protein, binds in this Tata element. Okay, it is known as Tata. TBP full form is Tata box binding protein. So it binds in this TBP, it binds in this starter box. Okay. So we see here two transcription factor together now. We have seen TF2B, which binds to the BRE element, and we have seen the TBP, where it is called as Tata box binding protein. It binds to the Tata box sequence of the promoter region. So two transcription factor we have till now got the name. There are many transcription factors. Well, you have to recite them. Okay. It is very easy to recite. Next is your initiator element. I am drawing with a different color for your simplicity. Next is your initiator element, which is called as INR element. Well, initiator element is the place where TF2D, it is another transcription factor, binds. Initiator element is the place where TF2D, another transcription factor called TF2D, binds. And the last sequence that we find in the promoter region is DPE. The full form of DPE is downstream promoter element. Downstream promoter element. In this downstream promoter element, here also TF2D binds. Well, TF2D is very large. It is a very large transcription factor. And one of the component of TF2D is your TBP. So TBP is also a part of TF2D. So here we can see altogether, that these are the sites for the promoter region where your RNA polymerase bind, and also the transcription factor binds, mainly like the TF2B recognizing element. Here TF2B binds. Then the Tata box, because it is rich with T and A sequence, that's why the name comes Tata box. Here a transcription factor named TBP binds. Then comes the initiator element. In short, it is called as INR, where TF2D binds. And here the last element, the last sequence of the promoter region, DPE, called as downstream promoter region, or you can say downstream promoter element. Here also TF2D binds. Now, the main thing that I want to say here, why here minus 37, minus 32, minus 26, plus 4, minus 2 has been written? Well, before the transcription start site, this is your transcription start site. Okay, again I am marking, this is your transcription start site. The arrow mark that is given here, is your transcription start site. Before the transcription start site, minus sign should be given to represent the upstream, and for the downstream, that means from the transcription start site, plus symbol should be given in for the nucleotides. That it means to say, I'm saying here, it means to say here minus 2 is written. That means this region, this region is located 2 nucleotides away from the transcription start site. Then the Tata box is located minus 26 to minus 31. It means to say that this Tata box, this Tata box is located 26 base pair away from the starting point of your transcription. But as it is located on the upstream, so that's why minus sign is given. Then the BRE element, if I say the BRE element is located at minus 32. That means it is located 32 base pair away from the transcription start site. But as it is located on upstream, so minus sign is given. From the transcription start site, it is your downstream, whereas the other part is your upstream. Okay, that's why here minus sign and plus sign has been given. Like here plus 4 has been written. What does it mean? It means that this region is located, this plus 4 region is located 4 nucleotides away from the transcription start site. I am saying this region called DPE element, the DPE element or downstream promoter element, it is saying here plus 28 to plus 32. What does it mean? It means that this DPE element or downstream promoter element is located 28 nucleotides away, 28 nucleotides away or 28 base pair away from the transcription start site. Well, the arrow mark is your transcription start site. Now, as it is located on the downstream, so plus symbol is given. Whereas in case of upstream, where no transcription occur, only regulation of transcription is occurring, there minus sign is given. Okay. I hope you have understood what I have said till now. Okay. So this is the normal promoter region of your binding of your RNA polymerase 2. This is also called as Pol Pol 2 promoter. Pol 2 promoter region, or you can say RNA Pol. Pol means RNA polymerase 2 promoter region. RNA polymerase 2 promoter region. Okay. Okay, so this is what it is written here, just I have said. Okay, so now the next thing that I want to discuss with you is, we have now discussed about the promoter regions. Now how the RNA polymerase binds, how the RNA polymerase binds and how the transcription factors bind one by one. Well, if I say if I say um, if I say in a short way, in a basic way, then let us see how it binds. So eukaryotic promoter contain this starter box, and this starter box located on the upstream. Okay, it is located on the upstream because it is located before the transcription start site. Now this starter box is recognized by a transcription factor called TF2D. This starter box is recognized by a transcription factor known as TF2D. Now, one of the component of TF2D is your TBP, also known as starter box binding protein. So, the component of this TF2D called TBP bind to this starter box. So, it bind to this starter box. Okay. So, again I repeat. So, TBP bind to this starter box. And TBP is what? It is one of the component of TF2D, because TF2D is so much large. It is a large transcription factor. The component of TF2D, that is TBP, binds to the starter box, and some associated factors in TF2D binds with the TBP for proper binding to the promoter. So there are some other factors that associate with the starter box binding protein. There are some other associated proteins which binds with the Tata box binding protein. Why it binds with the Tata box binding protein? For proper binding to the promoter. Now, when this Tata box binding protein bind to the Tata box, it distort the sequence of the Tata box. Distort means it changes the structure within that Tata box sequence. Maybe it melt. Okay, it melt actually. It actually widens of the groove. Well, DNA have major groove and minor groove. This is your minor groove and this is your major groove because it is much of depth. Well, TBP, when Tata box binding protein binds to the Tata box, it widens up the groove position. It makes more space for the D so that more proteins can interact with the promoter region. So when Tata box binding protein binds, it distort the DNA structure within the Tata box sequence, and then it allows the other transcription factors to bind and initiate the binding, like TF2A binds, then TF2B binds, then RNA polymerase with TF2F binds, TF2E binds, and finally TF2H binds. So the first protein, the first initiation factor which binds is your what? TBP. After binding of TBP, it causes change in the structure of the promoter region. It widens up the groove position. Okay, to make more space for binding of other transcription factors like TF2A, then TF2B, then RNA polymerase with TF2F, RNA polymerase RNA polymerase 2 with TF2F, then TF2E and TF2H. Well, there is no TF2G. Okay, so many transcription factors bind one by one after causing that distortion in the Tata box as done by the TBP, right? One by one, these transcription factors bind, okay, and form a complex. Okay, now RNA polymerase with TF2F have associate with more proteins. They associate with more proteins that I am not talking now. I will talk later on. So it forms an initiation complex called pre-initiation complex, which is followed by melting of this promoter region. Especially this Tata box is melted because it consists of mostly adenine and thymine. So this is the best place where your melting of the nucleotides can be done, because adenine thymine are joined by only two hydrogen bonds. So after the formation of this pre-initiation complex, then it is followed by promoter melting. So the promoter region will now melt. It will now open up to unwind the DNA at the promoter site. Now for promoter melting in eukaryotes, it requires hydrolysis of ATP, which will be mediated by this TF2H. So TF2H will carries out the hydrolysis of ATP in order to melt the DNA within the promoter region. Well, you can recite the name TF2H, H for helicase. Just like in replication, what does DNA helicase do? It unwinds the DNA and form replication fork, right? Here also TF2H, H has helicase activity. That means with the help of ATP, it will catalyze the hydrolysis of ATP in order to melt the DNA at the promoter region. Now this TF2H, this TF2H is made up of two subunits. One is called XPA, another is called XPD. Okay, I think you have understood. I have I have tried to say it. I will again repeat. Don't worry. There is a picture which clearly shows that how the initiation of transcription occur at the promoter region. Don't worry. So just this much you have to understand that how TF2H works. TF2H have a helicase activity. This TF2H is made up of two subunits called XPA and XPD. Both of these subunits helps in unwinding of DNA. Both these subunits helps in unwinding of DNA. Okay, okay, understood this much, right? Okay, so now I'm going to show you the image of the initiation of transcription process. It has been written in this book. It has been written in these notes that I have provided to you. Okay, I'm not going for line by line because it will make you more time consuming. Okay, just I am talking what it is written in the book. Okay, let us see the picture now. So what was written? I have said. Now so you see the picture. So this is the promoter region. Now all the promoter regions has not been shown here. Only the Tata box has been shown. Now this Tata box is recognized by TF2D first. And one of the component of your TF2D is your TBP. See, I am using again. So one of the component of TF2D is your TBP. So TBP binds to the Tata box. Now when TBP binds, TBP means Tata box binding protein. When TBP binds to the Tata box, it actually distort the structure of DNA with at the promoter region. That means at the Tata box, it somehow it change the structure of the DNA by making up more space so that more transcription factor can allow to come and bind. If this is the DNA, okay, I am to again erase. So if this is the DNA having the major group and minor group, so TBP binds here and making more space so that the other transcription factor can come and bind. So it is making that space. That's why it caused the distortion. So that's why you can see TF2A binds close to the promoter region. Then comes the TF2B. You know very well where TF2B binds. Where TF2B binds? TF2B binds on which place? I have said just little bit ago. TF2B binds to a region known as BRE element. Remember the TF2B recognizing element, also called as BRE element, right? So it binds to the BRE element which has not been shown here. I am marking it. Okay, so this is the BRE element where the TF2B transcription factor bind. Then what happened? Then slowly other transcription factors also starts to bind. Here you can see TF2F with RNA polymerase 2 bind to the promoter region. Okay. Well, RNA polymers 2 have a short tail, a pig-like tail. Well, this tail is very important because this tail mediate phosphorylation of certain regions which causes the RNA which causes the transcription process to proceed. Okay. So the tail regions have certain amino acid sequence, and within the tail, phosphorylation occurs on certain regions of the tail, which allows the RNA polymerase to carry out the transcription process. Even the post transcriptional modification, which is required for the RNA polymerase in order to stabilize them, it is done. Like, for instance, the 5 prime cap formation occur on the occur on the RNA. Then at the 3 prime end, there is a polyadenylation. Then the splicing process. Okay, the splicing process, all these post transcriptional modification occur due to this phosphorylation state of the tail of RNA polymerase 2. You will see later on how it occurs. So we are talking about the initiation process. Okay. So this TF2F with RNA polymerase 2 binds to the promoter region. Then what happened? Then comes the helicase and TF2E. So TF2E and TF2H later binds and finishes off to form a complex known as the what it is called? It is called as pre-initiation complex. Pre-initiation complex. Okay. So now you can see that all the whole transcription factors come and bind. Okay, you have seen one by one. First, TBP binds, which is this. Then TF2A binds. Then the green one called TF2B binds. Then TF2F binds. Then TF2E binds and TF2H binds. The TF2H have a helicase activity. It has a helicase activity. With the help of this helicase activity, it causes hydrolysis of ATP, which actually causes the unwinding of the DNA at the promoter region, and then your transcription process proceeds. You can see the transcription process proceeds now, and this green one that you can see, the RNA is getting to be synthesized. Well, I have said now that the tail is often get phosphorylated. Yes, here is the figure which shows that phosphorylation occur on the tail, but not on every region occurs. At certain region, phosphorylation occurs to carry out the post transcriptional modification process. Like, for example, certain regions of the RNA polymerase are phosphorylated so that they can do the elongation of transcription. Then again, certain regions of the tail are phosphorylated for allowing the 5 prime cap formation on the RNA. Then certain regions of the tail of the RNA polymers are again phosphorylated for allowing the splicing machinery to carry out the splicing process. I have said before in the previous lecture that the introns or the non-coding RNA are to be removed and the exons are to be joined. Okay. Okay, then the same phosphorylation will allow the RNA polymerase to stop the transcription also. Okay, so this is the whole process for the initiation of transcription. Okay, I think you have understood what I have said up to this much. Okay, now let us say for today's lecture, let us discuss about this tail part. Okay, let us discuss about this little tail which is found on the RNA polymerase 2. Now the tail of this RNA polymerase 2 contain repeated heptapeptide sequence. Heptapeptide means heptapeptide means hepta comes from the word 7. Peptide means the peptide bond. That means the tail of RNA polymerase 2 consists of repeated 7 amino acid sequence. In humans, the RNA polymerase 2 in humans, their tail of RNA polymerase 2 have been repeated 52 times. Now there is a query that what is that 7 amino acid sequence found on that tail of RNA polymerase 2? Well, the sequence is as follows. So what does it mean? I have understood. I have tried to say it. Okay, you have understood. Again, I repeat. It means to say that the tail of RNA polymerase 2 has repeated 7 amino acid, in short form I have written 7 amino acid sequence. And what is that sequence? The name of the sequence is tyrosine peptide bond serine proline, threonine serine proline serine. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So this amino acid sequence is repeated about 52 times. It is repeated in the human RNA polymerase 2. So the tail consists of this repeated 7 amino acid sequence joined by the peptide bond. Tyrosine serine proline, threonine serine proline serine. Okay, okay, understood. Now what is the significance of this repeated uh, 7 peptide sequence? Actually, what happened here, phosphorylation of the tail occurs, like phosphorylation of the serine residues at the tail of the RNA polymerase 2 and addition of nucleotide precursors are required for RNA synthesis. Okay, that causes the RNA polymerase to move. So again I repeat, so the large subunit of RNA polymerase 2 have this tail, okay, which has a tail, and this tail consists of this repeated amino acid sequence called tyrosine serine proline, threonine serine proline serine, and each repeat contains the site for the phosphorylation by special protein kinase, including one that is a subunit of TF2H. So during the initiation process, there are some specific sites of the tail where phosphorylation will be carried out on the tail, and it is done by specific protein kinase, like the protein kinase activity of TF2H. Well, TF2H also have a kinase activity, so it is a multi-purpose transcription factor. It not only unwinds the DNA, but it also has the ability to phosphorylate specific residues on the tail of RNA polymerase. Okay, okay. And addition of phosphate to the tail causes the polymerase to shed most of the initiation factors, and the elongation process proceeds. So it means to say, when phosphorylation occurs on the tail of RNA polymerase, it causes the initiation factors, that is the TF2B, TF2A, and all the other initiation factors which binds during the initiation process, it will shed off, it will remove off, in order to make the RNA polymerase to move on and carries out the elongation process. Okay, I think you have understood what I have tried to say. Okay, this tail is also required for the post transcriptional modification like addition of the 5 prime cap, then the polyadenylation that occurs on the 3 prime end of the RNA, then splicing process. It all depends on what is the phosphorylation state of the tail. But here, this much you have to understand, that when phosphorylation occurs in the tail of RNA polymerase 2, and this is catalyzed by specific kinase enzyme. Obviously there are some specific kinase enzyme which carries out the phosphorylation. Then what happen, RNA polymerase 2 will carries out the elongation process, and by that time this initiation factor is no longer of use, it will shed off, it will remove from that DNA at the promoter region. Okay, now another question comes, that this is a interesting question, that when TBP binds, I have said now that when your Tata box binding protein binds, when Tata box binding protein binds, it causes distortion of the DNA, which allows the other transcription factor to bind. Why? If you see clearly, if I say the right answer, that why it caused distortion, then the answer will be like this. You know that proteins are made up of various structures. They have secondary structures like your alpha helix, beta sheet, beta turns, right? So the TBP, or Tata box binding protein, the beta sheet of TBP recognize the minor groove of the Tata box. Now, which is the minor groove? Remember, if this is the DNA, which is the minor groove? Well, the small deep position is called the minor groove, whereas this is called as the major groove. So this one is your minor groove. Okay, so TBP, or Tata box binding protein, the beta sheet of Tata box binding protein recognize this minor groove of the Tata box. And normally proteins recognize the DNA using the alpha helix, and they get inserted into the major groove. But here the opposite thing occurs. I am repeating once more for you to understand. So this is your DNA. Okay, well, which is your minor groove and which is your major groove? Well, this is your minor groove, and the opposite one is your major groove, because it is of more depth. Major groove. Well, here also this is the major groove and this is the minor groove. So this is, again, this is the major groove, and the opposite is the minor groove, because it is of less depth. Minor groove. Now normally proteins interact at the major groove using their alpha helical secondary structure. So the proteins, normal proteins, okay, I'm using green color. So normal proteins interact at this major groove using their alpha helical structure. But here, during the transcription initiation process, the opposite thing occurs. What opposite thing occurs? The Tata box binding protein, it is a protein, it is a transcription factor which initiates the transcription. So this Tata box binding protein, what it does, it binds to the minor groove of the DNA using their beta pleated sheet. So the beta pleated sheet of the Tata box binding protein bind to the minor groove of the DNA. Now, when Tata box binding protein binds at the minor groove of the DNA, well, this is the Tata box region. Obviously, this is the Tata box region. So, within the Tata box region, the Tata box binding protein binds to the Tata box, but where it binds to the minor groove region of the Tata box. So, when Tata box binding protein binds to the minor groove, it creates more space. It has to insert, it has to interact with the DNA, na? It has to interact with the Tata box region. So it forcefully enters to the minor group and it creates some more space. Okay. And causes bending of the DNA at an angle of 80 degree also. So when Tata box binding protein binds to the minor groove region of Tata box, it causes the minor groove to be more widened. Widened means in Bengali chौड़ा हो जावा. So it causes the minor groove to become more widened, and it cause a bending of the DNA at an angle of 80 degree. And thus it allows more space occurs so that the other transcription factor can access to the promoter region. So simple thing, Tata box binding protein binds to the Tata box at the minor group region. Well, minor group region is not a wide group, it is a short groove region, it is not so much depth. When Tata box binding protein binds, it distort the DNA structure. It widens the minor groove. That means chaura kore deয়, making more space. A platform is created so that more other proteins, transcription factors can access and bind to the promoter region. And it also causes bending of the DNA at an angle of 80 degree also. Okay. So this was about the Tata box part. Now about the tail, what I have said, that the tail region of the RNA polymerase, the tail region of the RNA polymerase 2 is phosphorylated using specific kinase enzyme. And one of the kinase has the activity of TF2H. TF2H also have a kinase activity. So phosphorylation of the tail is carried out by specific kinase, and other kinase including the TF2H carries out the phosphorylation part. Well, kinase cause phosphorylation, whereas phosphatase remove the phosphate group. Well, in your Sadin sir class, you have understood, I think in your biochemistry class taken by Sadin sir, obviously he have said that what is the function of kinase and phosphatase. Kinase add phosphate group to certain regions of your protein molecule, whereas phosphatase remove the phosphate group. And in most of the case, when kinase acts, it cause activation of the protein. So here also the tail of the RNA polymerase is phosphorylated by kinase enzyme and cause activation of the RNA polymerase. Thereby it carries the elongation process and all the other things like the splice, the addition of the cap, the 5 prime cap at the RNA, then your splicing process where the introns are removed out and exons are joined, then the polyadenylation. Okay, all those stuffs will be carried on due to phosphorylation of the tail of RNA polymers. But we have to understand that at which region of phosphorylation causes that thing to do. That means at which state of phosphorylation it causes the polyadenylation to occur. At which condition of phosphorylation of the tail causes the transcription process to elongate. Okay. So this was for today's lecture. In the next lecture, I will discuss about the different types of transcription factors, or like TAF, TF2B, and the other transcription factors which are involved in the transcription process, including there is also some other proteins as well, like mediator complex. If you look at the mediator complex, it is so much huge that you cannot able to recite them. Well, you have don't have to recite them. Well, this is the figure that that is shown here, that how TBP, how the Tata box binding protein, which shown in purple here, you can see here is blue color here. So this is the beta sheet, this is the beta sheet of the Tata box binding protein. It interacts with the minor groove of the DNA and allowing distortion, allowing bending of the DNA, which shows in gray here, gray in color, and allows widening of the minor group so that the other transcription factor can come and access and interact with the DNA for transcription initiation to occur. Okay. Well, I was talking about the mediator. There is also one more protein called mediator complex. See. Okay, this is your TF2B TBP promoter complex. This is your TBP. This is your TF2B. TF2B normally binds to the where? It binds to the BRE region, that is TF2B recognizing element, and the gray one is your DNA. Well, the simplified structure that normally shows in the book is much simple than this structure. You have to just recognize them. Well, you can see the mediator complex here. So not only the transcription factors bind to the DNA for carrying out the transcription process, but also the other proteins are also associated with the transcription factor, like this mediator complex. This mediator complex is so much large that it is made up of about you can say it is made up of about 25 different types of proteins. If I show you the structure, it is look like this. This is the mediator of humans. See, so much name: SRB 11, TRAP 100, TRAP 97. So many different types of proteins make up the mediator complex. The above mediator complex is taken from yeast, and this mediator complex actually interacts with the RNA polymerase and also with another regulatory protein called activator to regulate the transcription process. You will see them when I will say about this part. So in the next lecture, I will discuss about the different transcription factors one by one, and also this mediator complex. Okay, and also I will show you the mediator complex, and also this one also, that depending on the phosphorylation state of the tail, what events occur during transcription process. Okay, so that's for today's lecture. For notes, you have to go through the pages from your, well, the page number has not been given. If you see through PDF, it will be from 391, from page 391 you have to see up to page 394. So from 391 to 394 you have to study for today's lecture. Okay, So that's much for today's lecture. I hope you have understood.